Okay, so if you have noticed something recently in a budget sector of the smartphones in India, the smartphone pricing is getting quite high for a budget sided smartphones, and it has been become quite normal to get a smartphone in past for around 15 to 20,000 a good smartphone for a long term, but now that price have been raised a really lot higher from 30 to 40,000 or even plus to get a good smartphone in a budget sided, and that range was known for a flagship killer, but now the flagship killers have also increased that pricing, and you might be having your own reasons, but this video is completely going to talk about the practical manners and what happened to this budget sided smartphone market. This is captaindrs, you're watching krsndrs, and let's get started. So let's start off with the 2020 effect. In 2020, we hit with the coronavirus, or you can say the COVID-19, and that changed a complete life scenario of the people. And many people, many brands started to target a lot of smartphones in budget tight sectors, and people shifted to that smartphone, and their sales and everything was quite high. And but there was something quite unfamiliar on the processors. At that moment, there wasn't a big supply chain. The supply chain was basically disturbed due to this COVID-19, due to lockdowns and current regions and ups and downs going on with the manufacturing. So we got to see a common processor's name in a lot of smartphones and having its own ups and own downs. But that 2020 effect is still slightly, going on and trying their best to improve the way of the facilities. 5G effect. Now you might be thinking that you can get a good quality 5G smartphone in under 10,000 or max to max 12,000. A good quality base means a Dimensity 700, Snapdragon 480, 480 plus. They both are the 5G processors, and this is quite normal. You have also seen with Nokia and with kind of a smartphone brand Lava with their blades of 5G, that came down with the Dimensity 700, and you might be also thinking, but those are a basic processors. You can get into the 5G with those processors, but you need to get a big quality of 5G, and those ways the brand makes a lot of marketing. Dimensity 900 was able to get around 20,000, but now you can get it at even under 20,000 or even sometimes under at 15,000, and same goes for the other processors. But some brands are targeting in a way of the manner that they are providing best quality 5G, best quality this on the top of it, huge bands, and 5G is a kind of a expensive term. So many brands have taken that oath into their hand and started pushing themselves from a range of 20 plus, or you can say even a 30 plus. The 15 to 20 is, or you can say to 10 to 20 is completely unbalanced range. Now you might be having a question that we will be able to get a 4G based smartphone under 15,000, but if you go ahead with that smartphone, there isn't a lot of range. Just giving you an example of the MediaTek Helio G99. After the coming of that processor, we have not seen a single smartphone came up with the MediaTek Helio G96 or G95. Those are the good processors, but the brands are pushing themselves with the G88, G37, and they are trying to make a gimmick to our hands that in under 10,000 we are able to get the G35, G36. Even in past with the Micromax in 1B, the G35 based smartphone was able to come under the 10,000, which is quite normal. It was launched in back in a couple of years ago, and still you can get that smartphone at that range. Even the Unisoc T612, which came around a couple of years ago with a lot of brands, has completely now taken a really small space in its own sector, and nothing has been done by them with basically the Unisoc T612. And even if we come around with the range of the 10 to 12, 10,000, or you can say the 6,000 to 12,000, the phones are quite unusual. Those are the entry level based smartphone. You can't do a lot in them. Even they are based upon the Android's Go edition, no matter what, Android 12 or 11, and those phones are not even the future growth. So you won't be able to get a lot of updates, you won't be able to get a lot of security patches on top of it, or sometimes you won't be able to get even of the updates on those smartphones. Just quite having its own ups and downs. As for me, on those range, Nokia is doing quite a really good. They tell the people that you will be getting this much security patches or even this much operating system updates, but the processors on the Nokias are kind of having its really downgraded. They still uses Unisox 28 nanometer B2 processor, SE96 something, I didn't remember because it is having a really big name, but still Nokia is doing a really good factorial job in that range. Following the another brand, Lava is also quite not coming in the range, but they are doing also really good under the 10,000 with the G36 and G37 aggressively priced, but still, if this G35, G36, G37, whatever it is, if it comes even in the budget sector, then it might be having a quite appealing, because by the time the processor's life is been compromised, and it is a quite old processor too, so it needed to be getting under even that price point. But yeah, still Lava has kept some range following the Infinix, Techno, and Redmi's A1 and A2. Those are having the A22 processor, which is quite literally a really old processor. And if you are going ahead with that A2 and A1, then you won't be able to do a lot of stuff, only for the calls and stuff on the top of it, and quite normal gaming, nothing. So it's something like that. Asking me that why the brands have been shifting from that range to something like that. See, let me just give you a good example of the Samsung only. Samsung's recent phone, which was quite appealing, Samsung Galaxy A54, which is a budget-sided smartphone, which is around 41,000 INR. And if you go in the past, Samsung Galaxy A50, I believe, was at 20,000, a really good smartphone, and that has been came around at 41,000, whopping big up on the jump of the A series. Following that same for the A34, which came out recently, and that guy is having the Infinity U display. To be frank, I don't like the water drop notch, but yeah, Samsung is having its own way in terms of showing the people what to do, and it is happening due to the market gimmick, and also following that the processors are getting its expensive way, due to a chip shortage factor, which is going quite up quite down. Some days it has been completed, sometimes it is still going on, and in that range also the quite unusual stuff has been going on from the IQ, nothing. Pixel is also there in that range. Redmi, Realme, each and every brand has been kept in that range, and from 1,000 to 20,000, there isn't quite a lot of options to get, to satisfy your pocket. So many people try to jump in that range, and they might get dissatisfied. But yeah, I like the Samsung, one of the another reasons which they have started doing, telling the people that how many OS updates and the security patches you will be getting. And I believe that the many brands should start telling the people from their box only. Nokia only does that thing, that how many updates you will be receiving, how many security patches you will be receiving, so that people can be able to get that satisfaction while buying this smartphone, which is, as for me, a big feedback if you are watching from the brand. Might be thinking, yeah, that's good. There isn't any one brand in that range. You are going to get a lot of options, but that yeah, it's quite good that there are a lot of options, but it's a quite a jumble of a lot of brands. If you pay around 1,000, 2,000 more, then you will be getting a good processor, good quality, this. But if you pay more than that, good design, good stuff on the top of it. And if you pay 1,000, 2,000 more, then this for the gaming, this for the camera, this for that. It's something like unusual stuff going on with a lot of brands. And I don't know what Realme is trying to convey. The display is nice on the 10 Pro Plus, but in some managerial factor, the 2 megapixel, or you can say the 5 megapixel macro depth sensors is still going on. Not only with the Realme, but with each and every brand in that range. If you remember in the past, at that range, you might be able to get a good quality periscope telephoto, or even the telephoto sensor. I believe that the Motorola was the brand who came around with this in the range in recent with the G series, and many people are still onto their devices. But it depends type of what type of telephoto sensor it is there. Even the Infinix came around with the Infinix Zero 5G in the past. It was a quite good and appealing smartphone, but the latest Infinix Zero 5G is having the 2 megapixel macro and depth, but it's quite appealing in the budget sided sector of the 15 to 20,000, and it's having its own ups and downs on the top of it. Even the processors are kind of good in that range, but many brands are giving the really kind of unusual processors still into ups and downs. 695 is sometimes even 20,000 plus. I believe that this processor should be and must be kept under 20,000 to get a better quality, and a good market for that smartphone is under that price point. And 6 series is also famous for that budget type sector for the Snapdragon, so it is so yeah. That is the reason why it is creating a big jumble into a lot of people's mind, and it quite become difficult whenever you are going to buy a new smartphone. So yeah, that's the reason. Couple of reasons which I told you why the budget-sided smartphones are been so taking off and moving into the kind of say a big tired number. But if the brands are coming into this sector again, then it's gonna be really nice. People might be able to get a good quality smartphone at a really good quality based price point. So even I don't like when brands put introductory prices something like this, and afterwards the price would be like this, and sometimes in sales the price is below even the introductory price point. So yeah, it's completely my opinion. Let me know what do you think about the price point going ups and downs in the comment section down below. This was a kind of say a case study of the budget sided market. This was captaindrs. You're watching krsndrs. Like, share, subscribe. Gonna be appreciating our work. I'll catch you in the next video. Stay safe, stay connected. Peace out.